Personally, I like to. But it's up to you. It's up to you. Just so I know when to whip it out of the way, that's all.
No.
But Hi everyone.
Hi.
Hi everyone, we're late again. Oh, hello. That's loud. Sorry. Turn the music off. There it is. We're late again. We're always late. It's becoming a running theme. We'll be with you in 4 minutes. So grab a cup of tea really quickly. What? Do you want you to get your mum? She'll be here in now. She's only upstairs.
I'd like to go get your mum, because then you'll stop pulling my hair. That's excruciating.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I think it should be. I feel like it should be a side pony.
You're right.
Yeah. I feel like it's too near the back. I think she needs a side ponytail.
She?
He. Sorry. Sorry.
That's all right. I'm not cheating. Not tonight.
Not tonight.
I'm going to sit there and everyone's waiting.
I was going to say we're going to need Fiona, Nick, Jordan, and the 2 boys because they'll always be late. And we also need to start putting those tables away after main morning church because we don't need them out.
Yes.
And so after when you've done your main talk bit, you're going to split the kids. So Candice, Caden, and Kat. Is that all right? Can go off.
Wait, one question. Can I be in charge of that one?
And then trust me, being a leader ain't all it's cracked up to be.
We're still going to keep the same rules, so if you're not going to listen, and
I'll do the strikes then.
then I'll bring you downstairs.
I'll do the strikes chart then.
Yeah, we already know the deal. And then you'll and actually Bella can go with them this week, and then you can keep the 2 boys.
Okay?
That's going to be all right.
Yeah.
And then if you can, I know because no, normally we separate boys. So no, let's keep Bella and Kanan with you 2, and then that will give you to float between. Because then if you've only got 2, you can float between 2 rooms. Then and just make sure everything's going as it should be. Is that all right?
You know what we're doing?
That's good because I don't.
Hi guys.
Where would you like to sit? I figured I'm just going to leave all the chairs where they are, and you tell me where you want to sit, and I'll move them. You want to sit there? I get quite offended when you don't want to sit in front of me.
Do you want me to sit in front?
I think you should.
Oh no, listen, I've been waiting.
On our way.
Lovely. Best job I've ever done. Best job I've ever done. Everyone's going. Best job.
We should know better.
Is the front door locked?
Yes.
Why are you looking at electricians?
No, we're just checking it.
You
Don't
know,
worry, don't worry. No, it's
When
up to
we're
you.
using it, I'm only doing the one lock.
Yeah,
Press it
rather than
opens.
putting the padlock on every time. Oh, is it 6 o'clock?
And then when we come down.
That was very good, Caden. That was very good. I'm doing
Somebody's making
Nick.
sure we
Nick, you're late, man. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Hi, Max. Okay, you're late. Do you want to sit down rather than just hover? There we go. Okay. Caden, can you even hear anything? Because it doesn't sound like I'm coming through at all. There we go. I know we turned it down, but I'm not actually that loud, unless I get really excited, which I probably will do in a minute. We're going to do something a little bit different today. We're going to share some testimony stories if you want to. No pressure. I'm going to go up and get Susie so she can share hers. No, I'm just kidding, I won't really. But next time, I'm going to make sure Phil's on Kids Church, so you can. But if anybody's got anything to be sharing, even if it's not. Also, what we want to start doing, especially in our evening services, but also our morning services, but especially in our evening services, if you are getting anything during worship, if there's a word given to you, if there's, we're supposed to be a Pentecostal church, guys. So that means we believe in Spirit-led worship, Spirit, all the gifts of the Spirit. If you're getting something that you feel the church or somebody in the church needs to hear, you don't have to stand up and go, Susan, I've had a word from God, we need to talk, right? But if it's a word for, you're not sure who it's for, then please feel free to get up at the end of our services and start giving these words. We need to start getting a bit more prophetic. Is that all right? But not when we're preaching. You know, you've got to let us do that bit first. Then you can talk after. But not all night, okay? But tonight is especially our testimony night, so we're going to share some things. I'm going to share some things that have been going on. I know I've got one person ready to share, and she's going to bail me out if anybody else doesn't want to share anything. So right, so that's what we're going to do. So just while we're doing worship, I wanted to tell you that first. So while we're worshiping, let God talk to you. Let God, you know, maybe he's going to prompt you that you need to tell us something. Because you know what? Your testimony is not for you. Your testimony is something given to you by God to share. And that's what we should be doing. Okay, so we're going to go for our notices. Today's testimony night. Woo, woo. Perfect. Hi. And that's called the walk of shame as well, by the way. You get a cheer. Don't worry, Jordan will be here much later than everybody else. She wins. She wins by a mile.
I'm on the shame.
Okay, so this is what our week looks like here at Overboard Church. So tonight we are here, which I haven't removed. Kids Church is having their first Kids Church upstairs, which is going to be really cool. We are going to hopefully when we have our launch, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, that's when we're going to go full Kids Church upstairs. We will run an entire kids service. Kids, no offence, you won't be down here at all. You need to be in your own service. You need to be where the music that we're playing is relatable to you. We need to be where the person that's talking is relatable to you. And you don't need to be sat up here listening to us. Down here. You need to be sat up there listening to us. But if I can hear you, I will be up them stairs telling you to turn it down. Okay, so we're going to get you some speakers, but some not very high-powered ones.
That's not fair.
To be fair, it did take an awful long. It was very loud, so I'll be very surprised if we can hear you. Anyway, so Kids Church is going upstairs. Monday night we've got our nightlight cafe at 7 o'clock. That's Jean. Are you back? No,
I'm waiting.
Jean. I'm glad you lot know because I haven't got a clue what's going on. You and Phil tomorrow night. Yeah. It's Phil and Susie here on a Monday night. It's been you and Susie. It has for a long time, hasn't it? And you've always done Wednesdays, haven't you? I'm really sorry. Next week I'll get it wrong as well. So if you are struggling with any part of your mental health, with just being bored, lonely, you just want to warm up, come and see us. That's what we're here for. Okay. You don't have to come in and it's not, we're not counsellors. We're here to listen. We're here to chat things through with you. We're here to just be nice. And that's all we want, And even if you don't have anything you want to talk about, you can just come and sit with us. I know on a Wednesday night they started getting board games out. Have you played Phil yet? Don't do it. Honestly, don't do it. So it's just a place for us to get together, especially we don't anybody that doesn't want to be on their own. It's not fun being on their own, is it? Although I'd love it. Tuesday. So Tuesday we've got our prayer meeting at 9:15, and then we've got a new group starting, which is our little lambs. There has been a little lamb. I don't know where he is. Where's he gone? He's normally up there. There's a little lamb somewhere around here. He's in the office. You sure he's not on the window?
Oh no,
he's in the window. Okay, so we've got a little lamb in the window. This is our toddler group. We are not doing a main big toddler group because we don't have the space for that, but we are doing a mini toddler session. So if you know anybody that you think it might help, because not all parents feel comfortable going to toddler groups, it can be a bit daunting, especially bigger ones. So we're kind of trying to keep this one little. So we've only got 2 parents coming this week, and it's going to kind of be, it's not invitation only, it's nothing like that, but we would like to know who's coming, just so we can keep it small and intimate, so it doesn't become daunting. And then if we get loads of people, then we'll just do like 10 different sessions, and Phil will love that. I hope he's not listening. So that's happening this week on a Tuesday, and then Tuesday chat is back. Is it back?
Yeah.
Are you guys back?
Yeah.
Yay! So Mitch and Elaine will be. What? I haven't seen Liam today. Okay, remind me that we need to find out where Liam is. So Tuesday at 2 o'clock, between 2 and 4. Is that right? I don't know what happens in this building. I just pay the bills, and not that sometimes. So that's from 2 till 4. Again, this is really not an outreach thing. This is an in-reach thing. This is for our church family. So if you're not part of our church family online, then be part of our church family. Get involved. But it's not open to the public, is what I mean. It's open to our church family to get to know each other. Do you have any theological debates, or is it just bring nice cake, don't you? And wagon wheels. I know.
Well, that's when Phil comes.
When Phil Phil had like this big array of chocolate cakes, didn't he? He bought loads of them. And you go away and let him loose on one Tuesday chat, and that's what happens. Okay, Wednesday this week is our Bill Baker Court service at 10:30. So Phil and Jean go over to Bill Baker Court and bring like a mini church service to the residents over there. You're going to have lunch as well this week and get to know them a little bit better, which will be brilliant. Wednesday night, Nightlight Cafes at 7 o'clock. That is with Jean and Nick and Fiona, and Phil kind of is always around somewhere. Thursday Bible study is 9:15. What are you Bible studying? Very near to the end of Revelation. Oh, awesome. And then our Invest youth group. So oh my goodness. This is going to be a real struggle tonight, bear with me. So the Thursday night youth group is for 14 plus, so 14 to 19-year-olds. That's what we do on a Thursday night. Caitlin, I know you love Phil's outings to the middle of nowhere in the dark, in the freezing cold.
I still want to go. All right, calm down.
You're too old, Catherine. We've talked about this. I know you're 20. Okay, and then Friday we don't do anything. Phil and I are trying to have a day off. We don't do days off very well, but it's very important. If it's good enough for God, it's good enough for us. So please, if you can't have a day off on Friday, like Susie and Jean, because I have a day off, have a day off a different day. You know, it's so important, especially those of us who are in leadership and who are doing. You've got to make sure there's a day of rest in there. As I said, if it was good enough for God, it's good enough for us. Saturday is our Safe Kids and Vault youth group upstairs. We had an awesome youth group yesterday. Stop talking about it because I'm going to talk about it in a minute. And then Sunday, we are back next week at 3 o'clock. So there is no morning service and there is no evening service next week. So on the first Sunday of every month, those of you who are new with us, we have a together service. So the people from the morning get to meet the people from the evening. And we call it Easy Church. So we are all together. The kids stay in. We do a bit of craft. This week, look, Bella, are you ready? This time it's all about love. Bella's boyfriend started coming to youth group, hasn't he, Bella?
He's not my boyfriend.
Not yet. Young love. Anyway, so it's all about love. We've got some great crafts and stuff, and Phil and Susie are going to lead that. It's just a whole lot of fun and great for us to meet the morning people that sometimes don't come in the evening. Or I should just say meet Janet, shouldn't I? She can't come.
She finds it difficult in the evening.
Yeah, she does. Okay, Hayden. Hello? There we go. No, back on. There, no, oh, no. It's safe to say Kate and I are having a bit of a rough day. So this is just some dates for your diary. I'm going to go through them real quick. Elam Conference, that's the Leadership Summit between the 9th and the 11th of May. We are talking to Gary when he's coming on the 23rd of April, I want to say April, that we are going from being a new church plant to being a full Elam church. So we have to start paying bills and all that good stuff. Where did he find that?
Oh, it's a baby, can't read.
That's Axel, put it back. Right, so Urban Wave, this is another great thing. Reminds me to tell you something about Urban Wave when I'm not online. Can someone do that when we finish? Someone say, Stacey, what about Urban Wave? And I'll tell you. I don't even know if it's a secret, but I think it might be, so I'm not going to tell you just yet. Anyway, so let's start. Urban Wave. Urban Wave is this great thing where our church from where our sister church from Lincoln, who have been the most incredible support for us. That's how we met you guys, from Darren, wasn't it? And
Sorry.
Wow.
We're keeping noise.
Anybody got a bucket of water? Okay. You're not allowed to do the techniques anymore. I'm going to carry on, sweetheart. I'm trying, babe. I'm trying. Okay, so Urban Wave is really, really cool. It's a great whole week of just getting together with our sister church in Lincoln. They come over on holiday. They have like 50 caravans or something ridiculous over it. I think they're on 3 different sites this year because they've grown that much. It's absolutely brilliant. Pastor Darren brings us. Pastor Darren, can you stop eating?
Sorry.
Right, Pastor Darren. Pastor Darren brings us. He brings his team over. He brings really good speakers, and it's just a really good week. It's £15 a ticket. If you can't afford £15 for the whole week, not for like every day, then please let us know because church will cover that. Susie's coming. We all go. We all go. We also do baptisms. You've got the tambourine. We also do baptisms on the Thursday. It's going to be a really long service, everyone. So if you have not had a full immersion baptism, please speak to us. That's when we're going to do it. We can do it beforehand if you want, but I think we're going to do it. We're going to go for it then. I think Jordan and the boys are perhaps thinking that would be a good date. That happens on the beach. They baptise people. We baptise people. It's really cool. It's a great day. Everyone's always going, oh, what's going on? And it's a great evangelism thing as well. So please get involved in that. We've got some great speakers coming. And it's all at the Dunes. Did I say that? It's at the Dunes. And most of it's in the evening. So there is some stuff during the day, but the speakers are normally in the evening. Lent starts on the 22nd of February. I think it's something to give up. Good Friday is the 7th of April. The Walk of Witness starts that way, finishes that way. Easter Sunday is the 9th of April. We've got an AM and a PM service, including the official opening of the upper room. That's up there. Yep. Guest speakers, we've got Mo coming, we've got Gary Gibbs coming, and we've got Safe Families coming. And now we're going to worship. That's all right. No, just don't, because I'll scoot back to that when we're finished. Oh, Lord. Right, we've got this coming. Little Lounge is coming this week. Mablethorpe Cares. If you want to get involved with maybe spending half an hour with some old people at an old people's home, that would be great. If you've got a spare half hour a week or whatever, let us know. Let Phil know. Don't let me know because I'm not doing it. Let Phil know. He's organising that with Morisco Medical Practice, so that's going to be really good. Wednesday Night Live, that's going to be a homework dinner kind of thing on a Wednesday for kids to come and do some homework with us if they're struggling to get online and stuff like that. We've been given a grant for 2 computers, 2 laptops. We've got the internet, and so yeah, things are really moving for our building. Now we're going to worship, and then you're going to scoot me back to that picture so I remember what I'm going to talk about. Is that all right? Okay.
Well done.
In a sweet day, unveiling the white remains. Come set our hearts ablaze with hope, like wildfire in our very souls. Holy Spirit, come, invade us now. We are your church. We need your power in us. And we seek your kingdom first. We hunger and we thirst. Refuse to waste our lives. For your joy and prize. To see the captive hearts released. The hurt, the sick, the poor at peace. We lay down our life for heaven's cause. We are your church. We pray revive this earth. Build your kingdom here, let the darkness show your mighty hand, heal our streets and land. Let your church on fire in this nation. Change the atmosphere, build your kingdom here. We pray. Unleash your kingdom's power. Shame the fear and power. Your thoughts of how can stop. Your beauty changing heart. You made us so much more than this. Awake the kingdom seed in us. Fill us with the strength and love of Christ. We are your church. We are your own. Build your kingdom here. Let the darkness in. Show your mighty hand. Heal our streets and lives. Set your church on fire. Win this nation back. Change the atmosphere. Build your kingdom here. We pray. Build your kingdom here. Let the darkness in. Show your mighty hand. Heal our streets and land. Set your church on fire. Win this nation back. Change the atmosphere. Build your kingdom here. We pray. Saturday was silent. Surely it was true. But since when has impossible ever stopped you? Friday's disappointment is Sunday's empty tomb. Since when has impossible ever stopped you? This is the sound of dry bones rattling. This is the phrase make a dead man walk again. Open the grave, I'm coming out. I'm gonna live again. This is the sound of dry bones rattling. Yeah. Pentecostal fire, stirring something new. You're not gonna run out of miracles anytime soon. Yeah, resurrection power runs in my ways too. I believe there's another miracle here in this room. This is the sound of Bible burning. This is the praise make a dead man walk again. Bring the rain, I'm coming out. I'm gonna live again. This is the sound of Bible My God is able to save and deliver. and restore anything that he wants to. Just as the man who was thrown on the bones of Elisha, if there's anything that he can do, hey, just as the stone that was rolled at the tomb in the glory, what happens when God says to I feel him moving it now. I feel him moving it now. I feel him moving it now. Do it now. Do it now. This is the sound of trials happening. This is the praise we can send and walk again. Glory to rain. I'm calling out. I'm gonna live, gonna live again. In the rain. I'm calling out. I'm gonna live, gonna live again. In the rain. I'm calling out. I'm gonna live, gonna live again. This is the sound of trials happening. You hear me when I call. You are my morning song. Though darkness fills the night, it cannot hide the light. Whom shall I fear? You crush the enemy underneath my feet. You are my sword and shield. Though troubles linger still, whom shall I fear? I know who goes before me. I know who stands behind. The God of angel armies is always by my side. The one who reigns forever, he is a friend of mine. The God of angel armies is always by my side. My strength is in your name, for you alone can save. You will deliver me, yours is the victory. Whom shall I fear? Whom shall I fear? I know who goes before me. I know who stands behind. The God of angel armies is always by my side. The one who reigns forever, he is a friend of mine. The God of angel armies is always by my side. And nothing formed against me shall stand. You hold the whole world in your hand. I'm holding on to your promises. You are faithful. You are faithful. Nothing formed against me shall stand. You hold the whole world in your I'm holding on to your promises. You are faithful. You are faithful. You are faithful. I know who goes before me. I know who stands behind. The God of angel armies is always by my side. The one who reigns forever, He is a friend of mine. The God of angel armies is always by my side. I know who goes before me. I know who stands behind. The God of angel armies is always by my side. The one who reigns forever. He is a friend of mine. The God of angel armies is always by my side. The God of angel armies is always by my side.
Amen, amen.
Amen.
Now that is how to worship, guys. I'm not even kidding. Flipping heck. If God didn't hear that, I don't know what he can hear. That was amazing. Honestly, those of you who are not in the room just missed that. I don't know. I just felt. Am I the only one that felt that? No, good. Okay. Okay, you're gonna give me a minute to compose myself because I'm shattered after that.
It was the tambourine work that did it.
Sorry.
It was the
I
tambourine that
think
did
it's the
it.
tambourine, Mitch. It was
Always.
It did it. It did it. Okay, so we're going to be talking about testimony today. It's important to give your testimony because your testimony is not for you, as I said earlier. It's for someone else. This became very apparent to me when, my testimony. I'm not going to give my whole testimony because we'll be here all night. But initially, before I would share my testimony, I was terrified. I didn't speak in public. I didn't speak to anybody. And someone from our American church called Andy, he said to me, "And why is that?" I said, "Because I'm just scared." And he said, "Yeah, but it's not yours. So actually, you need to get over yourself and you need to be giving your testimony because actually it's for somebody else." That Susie and I relate on such a different level when she found out I was a single mum and actually did know what she was talking about. So your testimony is for somebody else. Your words of hope and encouragement are for someone else. So if you've got anything you want to share, please share it. It's also biblical to share. I Googled earlier, not gonna lie, I love Google. Give me a good verse for sharing your testimony. I'm not kidding how many came up. There are hundreds of them. It's good. It's good to share your testimony. God wants you to share what is going on. As I said, it's not for you. My favourite one, where are we? Mark 5:19 says, "And he did not permit him, but said to him, 'Go home to your friends and tell them how much the Lord has done for you and how he has had mercy on you.'" It's biblical for us to share. It's everything that is happening to us, even if it's not necessarily good at the minute. It will come good. God is going to use everything that's happening. Could you do me a favour and scoot back? Just forget that page. Can you scoot back to that picture? And I'm just going to give a quick testimony. Hayden, I'm going to have to keep you here because I've got no one else to sit there. Is that all right? Or do you want to go upstairs and colour in tunes? Just say. Okay, so this picture here, we're continuing to pray for this. This is insane what's happened right here. Okay, so what day did he leave? Thursday. So Thursday he left. Friday, we signed a lease for the whole building, which is crazy. That's absolutely crazy. We shouldn't be able to afford it. We certainly, I've done some funding. Let me start with that. So we put in some funding and they said, "How long is your project going to last?" Well, for me, it's going to last until I go, but you've got to put time on it. So I just said it's a 10-year project, right? That sounds pretty good. Nobody knew that because nobody proofread the funding application because it had to go in so fast and with so many spelling mistakes, it just went in. It was me, God, and GDF that know that I want to do this for 10 years, or that we want to do this for 10 years. And the lease came straight out. Bearing in mind, we only had a 3-year lease on this building down here, so this part of the building. And then so we've got 2 years left. And it came straight out of a 10-year lease. That's crazy. He didn't say, "Would you like a 5-year lease? Would you like a 4-year lease?" Straight in at 10 years. He also said, "We'll take it off the market because it's for sale until you can buy it." So even this man, right, they're I don't know if they're Christians, and I may be, there are 2 Asian people from London, that's who own the company that own this building. I don't know if they're Christians, but And they even have faith that we're going to own this building. You know, these people that don't know us until you can be in a position to buy the building. That was his words to us. That's insane. I don't know what else to say about this. You've all been upstairs. You've all seen. You guys haven't.
I haven't.
I will take you up there when you're feeling it. But this vision here, Phil's had this vision for a while. Let's put it that way. And it's not that we've known about this for a long time, because we really haven't. This has been a matter of days that this has happened. And so this is Phil's vision. The cross should be on top of the building, by the way. Not he wants a full. You know, one of them. Him and Michelle decided they want to save up for one of them full illuminated, crosses. So instead of seeing the big M, no, the big T for Tesco's, you see the big cross for Jesus as you're coming into Mablethorpe. That's their idea. Anyway, we can't afford the electric, so that's not happening. But everything else that's on here, apart from the sound, this is what Phil's vision is. This is he sent me this picture, and I said, Phil, you are at the shop late because you're supposed to be working, and instead he's putting this vision into picture form, and rightly so, because God was obviously given him this vision, and this was a promise from God, and Jean has said it to me before, and we are always so surprised when God gives us what we ask for. Because I messaged when all this happened, and I sent my normal panic text out to Jean and to Elaine, going, I know it's what we want, but I don't know if we can do it. In that tone as well. And Jean wrote back and said, it's exactly what we've been asking for. I know, but I'm not sure if we really, God is so faithful, and this is our testimony. This is not my testimony. This is our testimony as a church. We've been praying for this building. We all have, and it's incredible. Upstairs the kids are at home already. I mean, it's so homely up there. It's so, what did you call that? The chill room.
Sure.
The chill room. There's a room at the back. The youth have got that. We've got lights everywhere. They've decorated it already. Literally in one day, we moved in. We started yesterday. We hadn't been in the building until yesterday morning. We started yesterday morning, and it wasn't even early because Claire didn't get out of bed. She said she was going to be here early. She got here at 10:30. We got here at 11. You were here before all of us. And we ran our first youth group in there last night. That's crazy. And do you know what? It's because every single person that is in this church stepped up, and whether it be run the shop, whether it be praying for us, people think, oh, well, I just prayed for that. It didn't actually help. That's the most important help we can get. If you've just been praying for us, trust me, that is enough to, you don't have to physically move boxes, because we nearly killed Stevie and Lewis yesterday. They were flagging a bit when you arrived, weren't they, Mitch? Thank God you arrived when you did, because I think Stevie was about to have a nervous breakdown if his mum had asked him to move anything else. But, and what was amazing for me is Susie's upstairs now, but I mentioned this morning. She believes in upstairs so much, and she still doesn't quite believe that she's in charge of youth and kids and that she is our children's pastor, because she doesn't feel worthy enough to be our children's pastor. And so she kept saying, where do you want this? I don't know, children, you tell me. Where do you want this? I refused point blank to make a decision yesterday because it's her ministry upstairs and she needs to step into that. And by God, did she step into that yesterday. She was bossing people around. I was like, wow, this is awesome. She came so alive yesterday, and she's got everything. I can't find anything up there. I was looking for scissors earlier for 45 minutes. I had to phone Susie, but apparently there's somewhere logical. But she's got everything upstairs because that's her ministry. And yes, we will support her with that. Yes, Phil is her main support for that. Michelle's going to step in and support Susie. I know that, Jean, you're already supporting Susie through everything, but that's her ministry, and that's what she needs to step into. And I really feel that's a massive call for all of us. What is our ministry? Are you even in a ministry? Is your ministry just being yourself at the moment? Because that's a ministry in itself, getting yourself through day to day. That's enough at the minute. God doesn't want you to step into this building perfect. He wants you to step into this building and be with him. And you don't have to step into this building at all to be with God. But to worship like we did tonight, you have to step into the building. And I don't care what anybody says, that's done me the power of good today. And just being together as a church family, no matter what you're going through, one of us has been through it. You know, we are such a mix of people. None of us are from around here. Oh, wait, is it? Apart from Dave. Well, you weren't born here though, were you?
Yes.
Oh, Claire's been outranked. It was Claire. Claire was our only
64 years ago.
Wow. Okay. So apart from you, you know, we've got Birmingham. We've got. I still don't even know where Ilkeston is. Derbyshire. You're from London. You're from even further down here. And where are you from? You're from London as well. Sleaford. That's about as close as we can get. Max, where are you from? Staffordshire, Hertfordshire. How many shears have we got? Derbyshire, Staffordshire, London. Where were you born?
I was born in Leicester, but I lived in Rutland.
Oh, I didn't know you were born in Leicester.
I was born in
Oh,
Leicester
dear.
Hospital, but I lived in.
I thought you were far posher than that,
But
David.
originally it was in Rutland, because that was near small one dad worked at the
Oh,
time,
okay.
and then moved to like pretty much a month after I was born. So I've
Okay, so you're the nearest thing we've got
I've
to a
been here most
local.
of my life.
The locals are going to start taking over, Jean. We need to get some more. But you know, this is such an encouragement. This here on the side as well, that's the side of the building, that's this part here. And Laura, the amazing Laura, who did our Noah's Ark in the middle room, she's currently painting, or we're all currently painting Sutton on Sea. They're going to do that here. They're going to paint that on our wall just there with "Let Your Light Shine," because that's a little bit of scripture, but you know, it's not necessarily too in your face. You know, we've got to think about evangelism. We don't want to be throwing Bibles at people, but it's going to be amazing. We've already got somebody with a cherry picker. Who knew we knew anybody with a cherry picker? I mean, what is it? Rebecca says, I know someone with a cherry picker. Rebecca, you're 9. How do you know someone with a cherry picker? I've been up in it. Laura's dad's got a cherry picker. When they go round, they go up and down in the cherry picker. I'm like, excellent. Who knew that Rebecca knew someone with a cherry picker? That's crazy. But you know, God is just putting all these people in place just to make this place incredible. And what do you build stuff?
Yes.
Oh.
No.
I'm thinking roof terrace. I'm not going to lie. One step at a time. But if you know anybody that can have patio doors, roof terrace, hot tub maybe? No. Okay, so we're not going to see Chris for a month now. That's it.
Of course you didn't.
Done. So that's our vision. This is our testimony right now as a church. That, I mean, you know, it's Phil and I's testimony. We started in our back garden with a handful of us, and we had to go into the back garden because there was too many to fit around the dining room table, and we didn't want to interrupt his mum. And then the next week we moved into Sherwood Fields, but actually the next week we moved into our shop. We had to move all the rails out of the shop on Fitzwilliam Street. Then we had 1 week in the Montel Arms. They were closing down, so let us use the hall for a week. And then the week after that, we found a little home in Sherwood Fields, which really was little. You had the kids in the corridor. Do you remember that? You were at the corridor. You didn't even have a room. We had to move the football table. Remember? Crazy. Yeah, the one with the bar in it. The one during my Easter service, he decided to clean all the beer pumps. I'm literally like this. You're ruining everything. But it was fine. It was, yeah. We were a Friday night church. Then we expanded into Sundays. Did. Max said, we're going to go to the pub to this lady. Would you like to come to the pub? Yeah, we'll come to the pub. He brought her to church instead. This poor woman sat there like, this is not a pub, and her face said that she did not want to be at church. It was challenging. Anyway, so yes, Max. She did stay the whole service. She didn't walk out. Give her a due. She did walk out, did she?
Have you spoken to her since?
No.
Oh dear. You're mentioned.
But you know, we got a good word of God into her, and if that's the only one she hears, then that'll do. And then we moved on to, we met you guys, and we moved into the Brownie Hut, which was slightly bigger. Then we went over to St Mary's Hall, which was slightly bigger. And then came the pandemic, and it was kind of all back to the kitchen. We were running out the kitchen for a while, and then we went back into St Mary's Hall because no one else was using it, so we could use it just to be online. And it's been an immense 4 years. I don't know any other church that has been through what we've been through. Planted, pandemic, and now we've got a 10-year lease on a building that we can call our own, that we can call God's. I mean, he didn't just want this little bit, he wanted the whole thing. And, you know, we've said before, we were praying for the Montel Arms, we were praying for that for so long, we wanted that building. But it wasn't prominent enough for God. God wants to be here, he wants to be in the centre, he wants to be on the high street, he wants to be the centre of our lives, but he wants to be the centre of our town as well. And I just thank God that we didn't get the Montel Arms. I thank God that he was right. I give up, I was wrong. You know, because we prayed so hard for that. It wasn't right. And our testimony is look how far we've come as a church. I mean, it's incredible. It really is. So we just praise God for that. Does anybody else want to share anything else? Anybody got anything before Elaine comes up? Rich?
No.
Sure.
Yeah, to change.
Jane, okay.
So,
Well, use this one.
Yeah, use that one. Sorry, yeah.
See, you
I
said.
know. I put that one there to speak to you, so I don't know why then.
Yeah, there's a few things I just wanted to say. Two of them are related to me or my family. Many of you know that my other half isn't here because his dad is very poorly down in London. Has been for, well, put it this way, the first time he went down for any length of time was because he got stuck down at the beginning of the pandemic. So this has been going on a long time. We had a team, I was going to say team around the child, that's what I used to work with, team around the child. We had a professional care team meeting, supposed to be online, but the lady that was supposed to help my 80-something-year-old mother-in-law sort out the online didn't turn up, so it ended up being on the phone, and I was supposed to be there online with them, so I ended up having my phone next to their phone so they could hear me and I could hear them. We were told to expect, they'll want to know your money, they'll want to know exactly how much you've got, they'll want all your account details, they'll want to know everything about your family life. We went to that meeting, but we're going in, we're gonna win this one. They didn't ask us anything. They just said, what care does he need? Total care, total care, total care, total care. That's fine. You'll get those in place. He now has Marie Curie nurses coming in at night, so my mother-in-law can actually sleep. And that's because you guys are praying. I put that on the WhatsApp group, and I know a lot of you were praying.
Yeah.
And we are so grateful to you guys, but also so grateful to God. The second one, I think virtually everybody in this room has had this lovely flu bug, because I think we very generously passed it around. I think that's part of it. But
I blame Susie, she got it.
while she was trying to be Mrs. Claus
Yes.
at the same time. I was literally a whisker away from being in hospital. Not last Sunday, the Friday before. I'm asthmatic. We had to have paramedics out and they were going to take me. And I started praying. I couldn't breathe enough to actually see the WhatsApp group, but I know other people were praying. And he said, what's happening to your numbers? I said, well, they're going up, aren't they? He said, why is that happening? Do you want to know? It's a bit like my finger. I can tell you how that healed. God did it. We consulted it. Amen. But again, with the paramedics, everything changed because people were praying. And interestingly, you've probably seen I've been posting stuff on Facebook by Toby Mack. And what he put up tonight was, when you're praying, pray to God. Think about God. Don't think about the problem.
Yeah.
Focus on God. The second couple of things, just things that have been in my head a lot recently. One's, it annoys me when I hear it on UCB2, but it's so true. God does not call the equipped. He equips the called.
Amen.
We might not think we can do anything.
Yeah.
40 odd years ago, I was a useless addict. To be honest, I couldn't remember my own name sometimes. but God equipped me. He equipped me to be a nurse. Never once did I go to that cabinet with any intention of taking anything I shouldn't do. God did that. So he didn't, I was not by any means equipped at that point. And the other thing is, for such a time as this, that has been going round and round and round in my head. So it's not because I looked at Stacey's phone.
One of the things.
Yeah. And I believe God has brought us to this time. He's given us upstairs at this time and in this place because he's got amazing things for us. But I think those two are linked. Don't take a step back because you think you can't do it. You can't. God can.
That's right.
Well, you can do it with him.
Thank you, Jane.
Amen.
Yeah, no, you can give that, I think, straight to Elaine, unless anyone else has got anything they want to. I love that. Do you know what? He doesn't call me equipped. So many times people have said, you know, I'm not qualified to stand up here at all. If you look at my CV, I should be in a hotel looking after weddings, but I'm not. I'm here talking to you because that's where God wants me, and I love that. You are going to need to stand over here a little bit closer to me, otherwise.
Actually, I am.
Do you want to put it in? Yeah, no, that's fine. That's all right.
Think about that.
There you go. Don't worry about losing that page either. So
Let's just go.
now you've made a big thing about it, Chris.
Yeah, I know.
You could have just stood down.
Well, first of all, I will say that, that when I do stand up talking at the front, I do tend to go very red. It's not my blood pressure, you're all right. It's just me. I just do that. So don't be alarmed. I think I'll still be standing by the end of it.
I'm here to catch.
Just in case, yeah. Right. Well, when I saw online that Stacey had said, you know, it would be praise and testimony and that, and I thought, oh, right, okay, great, yeah, that'd be great to go along and listen to. And then I got a little voice in my head saying, oh yeah, but I want you to say something. And I thought,
It wasn't me.
No, it wasn't you.
It wasn't me, that's for a change.
No, you don't, actually, you don't. And I kept shaking it off and going, no, that's not really very interesting, and da. Anyway, this morning came, and I thought about it yesterday, and I thought, no. And then this morning came, and I thought, well, it's still there. Maybe there's just something in what I feel I've got to say that might be of help to people. We'll see. But sort of the bit of a title that I've given it, if you like, is in all circumstances and at all times, God has got you back. So really, it's going to be, it might be a bit boring because it's going to be about the few weeks that we spent at home when we left here on the 5th of December thinking that we were going to come back and spend Christmas with our lovely church and whatever, and in Mablethorpe and see all the things that were going to go off, you know, the week before or whatever. So we planned to go for 10 days and then we were coming back. And so when we got home, it was really exciting because we'd only got 10 days. So we were going to rush round and see family and friends, catching up on news and giving and receiving presents. And it was really good. And then came the first change of plan, which we could do nothing about. Train strikes. You will notice I am reading because I'm not very good at just saying things off the top of my head. It will just go straight out there and I'll never find it again in a million years. So I am reading. So, okay, it was disappointing. And we'd still like to be able to travel back to Mablethorpe before Christmas, and especially to be able to take part in the Christmas Eve service. Because last year we were here, we just sort of landed, haven't we? And we came along and it really felt like it was the place to be, you know, it was home. So we planned then that we'd be back before Christmas Eve. Then came the second change of plan. My finger became badly infected. It was my own fault. Because I believe Mr. Google when he said, if you've got a little lump on your finger and it's got a little black mark in it, then it's probably a splint, so you should dig it out. So I did. And the consequence was that it got infected, even though I did sterilise my needle, Jean. I did honest. So I ended up sitting in Ilkeston Urgent Treatment Centre at Harper State on the morning of the 20th of December, which was 5 days before Christmas Day. Wondering what was going to happen now. I was sent home with a special plaster on the wound and told to come back if it got any worse. and it did. So I again ended up at the urgent treatment centre on the 22nd of December with a very painful red and throbbing finger. And all this time I'd been praying that it would heal quickly and Mitch and I could return to where we thought we were supposed to be for Christmas. We'd planned to be down here, we'd sort of planned how we were going to do Christmas dinner and all the rest of it, and we were going to meet up with you guys later on and da-da-da-da-da. Yes, Mitch was actually going to, was he? Probably not, actually, probably not.
We've got to find somebody for beat Stevie.
Anyway, it soon became obvious that we weren't going to get back, and so we stoically planned our Christmas at home. It was okay, it wasn't what we wanted, but it was okay. And then after another visit to the treatment centre and more antibiotics, where I was told if it wasn't any better after a week to return, I was beginning to wonder why everything possible was coming in our way to prevent us returning to our church fellowship. And I remember having a conversation with God. What's going on? Why can't we get back? What are all these difficulties? And where are you? Because it was very difficult it was hard to actually feel that God was around, and I was feeling really disappointed. I carried on doing my quiet times, reading, praying, but they began to feel empty, as if God wasn't there. And I'd forgotten God's promise in Matthew 28, verse 20, I am with you always to the end of the age. And that's a verse that I really love, and I say a lot to myself, but actually, I forgot all about that. More difficulties followed, and I found myself referred to the hand clinic at the Royal Derby, and I had septic arthritis apparently.
I was also ill at that time, wasn't I? I had that horrible.
You weren't well either, were you?
Sorry, carry on.
Yeah. And by this time I was well and truly fed up, to be honest. The constant pain and the lack of sleep and lack of purpose back home, because there's not a lot for us there. I mean, I have family and I love to see my family, I really do. And that's always the hardest thing when we come back, to leave them all, especially the little ones. But we don't have a church there anymore that we feel we can go to. We don't really have any stuff to do we, as such? So, by this time it's just getting a bit boring, quite honestly. And I could feel myself moving into a depressive episode. And I am prone to depression. I have been for goodness knows how many years, 35, 40 years or more. And I could feel it coming on. And it was now 5 weeks that we'd been home instead of 10 days. I kept trying to give it all to God, but I don't know if anybody else is like this, but I say, oh God, take it all, and then I snap it back. And I started fretting and worrying about my circumstances and what's going on. And then something else happened which made me book our train tickets back to Mablethorpe and put my trust in God and not circumstances. One of my grandsons, Presley his name is, his dad was a fan of Elvis, you may guess. He's 21 and whom I love dearly, but he's got himself mixed up in a world that I frankly don't like. In fact, to be around my family right now is to be in quite a toxic environment of abuse of alcohol, drugs, reckless behaviour, spitefulness, rage. My daughter, most of you know, was a heroin addict at 16. Consequently, I ended up bringing up 2 other children. We were pitted against each other in social services. It was a horrible, horrible time. But she did get clean, and she is clean. Unfortunately, she lost her husband a couple of years ago to lung cancer, and so now she's not gone back on the heroin and stuff, but she is on. She drinks heavily, very heavily. Anyway, on this particular morning, I'd gone to visit her. And my granddaughter and great-granddaughter were there, and that was lovely. And then Presley walks in, covered in blood and various knife slash wounds, which had been hurriedly dressed at A&E. He looked terrible, but I'm sad to say it didn't surprise me, because he not only takes drugs, but supplies them too. And I'm very ashamed to say that, but that's what he does. I love him to bits, but I don't like his behaviour at all. And he mixes with some very dangerous characters. My heart was immediately filled with compassion for him, but also anger. He was still boasting about what his reaction to this might be, what he was going to do, what he ought to do. whatever. And it was just horrible. And I thought, I don't like this. It's just horrible. I don't like being here. And when I walked out the house, I immediately decided that when I got back, I was going to arrange to come back here. And I've been praying for Presley consistently for years, and nothing had changed. And I said, why, God, why does nothing change? I've pleaded with you about the family situation, but nothing changes. But then it was a little thing that God did when we arrived back here that made me realise that God is still with me every day, in spite of those prayers not being answered, and I don't know why, still don't know why, but it's God's timing. We had a phone call while we were away to say that when it was that really cold spell, we'd had a water leak. So the water was switched off. There was some sort of problem that we're going to get back to. Neither Mitch or I are DIYers particularly, although I'm slightly better than he is.
Yeah, me too.
I'm at least willing, if he's not.
We definitely married the same man. I'm not
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I think so. Sorry, I've gone blank like
Sorry.
you do sometimes.
Water leak.
Thank you, coming. And we really had no idea what we were walking into, or how, in fact, we would fix it on a Friday afternoon. No, it was Wednesday, wasn't it? On a Wednesday afternoon. Who to get in touch with. We're not really very good at that sort of thing, I've got to say. But we were really, well, at the time you think you're lucky, but actually it was God's provision. They'd had to turn the water off outside because it was gushing out, and we couldn't switch it on. It was just too hard for us to switch on. So I had to go over to the office where we live and say, look, can you send somebody to switch the water on? Which they did, and they sent this lovely chap who we see out and about. I think he's the maintenance guy. And he said, oh, look, this is all you need to do is this, and this. And I'm going, thinking, what are you talking about? And Mitch had gone off for a walk because he was travel sick.
Well, the thing is, I get really travel sick, and I tried to turn the water on, and I couldn't, but I was feeling so ill. I just need to get. If I'd have gone to get somebody to turn the water on, the effect wouldn't have been the same.
No.
It had to be you.
Yeah. Well, I think he took pity on a little damsel in distress.
I love
This little old lady who can't fix the plumbing. So he really fixed it for us, and then and he also did some other work to it, didn't he, as well, to rejoin
Well, he came back
something
again,
over.
didn't he? And did.
And he would take. I said, oh, let me pay. Oh, no, it's all right. So it wasn't anything to do with the park itself. It was him off his own back. And then he said, I'll come back tomorrow and I'll sort a bit more out for you. Which he did, to his word. He came back, and then he just wanted enough money for a pint or something, and it was fantastic, really. Because we'd have been struggling, wouldn't we?
Oh, yeah.
We'd have been struggling. And it just made me think, and I thought, you know what? God blessed us there. He knew that we would have real trouble. And we were already in quite a fraught state. I know I was. I just wanted to get there and relax and switch off. And it gives me some distance from home, which I love them all, but it's so very difficult to support them. It is. And then there's God, and he said, I'll send you this chap, and he'll fix your plumbing for you. And it was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. And it was as if he was saying, this I can sort out straight away. But the other stuff takes time, and I've not forgotten you. And I love this verse it's Isaiah 49. It's part of 15 and 16. And it says, see, I have not forgotten you. I have written your name on the palms of my hand. And I love that. And I thought, he hasn't. He's not forgotten us. And I thought of all the other ways, little ways, that he's been blessing us all along. But the big questions, the big things, no, they're not sorted. They're not. And suddenly I could see that God had got our backs. He'd been there all the time. But I couldn't see it. I couldn't feel him. I couldn't hear him. Because my focus had shifted from him to the problems that surrounded me and threatened to suffocate me, and they did. They were everything. It was what I thought about when I got up in the morning. It's what I thought about when I went to bed at night, and most of the day as well. If you're expecting me to tell you that God's sorting out the big stuff, then I'm not going to, because it hasn't got sorted. Things are much the same family-wise. Part of my family is still a fractured mess. But what has changed is my attitude towards it all. I still pray as fervently for them that will meet Jesus and begin a relationship with him. But the rest of it, I'm letting go of. I'm trying to. It's not happening. It's not fully happened, but it is happening slowly. I'm beginning each day to put God first where he belongs. And it's not easy. And it's a discipline, I feel, but it's one that I want to learn and stick to. So really, the reason that I've sort of told this story is so that I can encourage you. When you bog down with stuff, look up to the heavens for the God of all truth. He's still there. He's still there waiting for us. He's always there waiting for us.
Amen.
And he's probably saying, my child, I'm here. I'm here for you. Yeah. And he says, I will not forget you. See, I have engraved your name in the palms of my hands.
Amen.
Thank you, Elaine. I love that. Throw it at Caden. Don't throw it at him. So what I think that's so important. That we remember when God is in the little things, we can trust him with the big things. We've said that before, that let's get those little things, those water leaks, those little things, and give them to God, and then he will. It's easier for us then to trust him in the big things. And you know what? We haven't all got it together. Phil and I haven't got it together. Jean hasn't got it together. The projector hasn't got it together. Hayden certainly hasn't got it together. None of us have got it together. But here is the place to come. This is, Jesus doesn't want a room full of perfect people. I often say, oh no, there's people winning the lottery and not me. I do. I'm like, seriously? Again, I'm like, at the end of my overdraft, we're just about able to pay all the bills. Why can you just not let me win the lottery? And it's because I wouldn't rely on him then. I wouldn't need him then, because everything would be taken care of. But actually, everything is taken care of because he takes care of our needs.
Right.
He takes care of this building. He takes care of, not one time have we ever worried about the church or the charity, for that matter, before the church even was born. Not one time have we ever worried about any of that. So thank you for sharing. Has anybody else got anything they want to share quickly before we go and get the kids? Denise, do you want to share anything?
Well, just to say, I've been, like you, just popped home to Birmingham for the 12th of December to see my grandchildren who are in care of the social services, and I get to see them on the 12th. I planned on coming, on the 20th. I planned on coming back on the 22nd, and I'll be back here for Christmas. And it didn't, just like you, one thing after another. And I ended up in the emergency room at the QA, and I phoned 111 because I was getting worse and worse and worse with my chest infection. And I thought, I don't want to make a fuss and I don't want to go in hospital. So John said, I started coughing up blood. So John said, ring 111. So I rang 111 and they said an ambulance is on the way. So it was there within 8 minutes. And then the next thing, they got me in really quickly. There was hours and hours of waiting list. And they got me 2 minutes. I was straight into a ward. They took me onto the side, got me a bed in this one ward. And then the next night they come and took me down, and they were pushing me down this big long corridor, and I thought, where are they taking me? Because they're taking me to the old hospital. Then I thought, oh, that's where I nursed my friend Frank who had cancer. They've taken me to the cancer ward. It really scared me because I was coughing up blood and stuff, and they took me to this cancer ward, which I thought was the end of the world. I thought, that's it now, they're just going to come out and say it's cancer. But actually, I found out 2 days later, it's the only clean ward. It's the only place in the whole hospital where they put you if you haven't got COVID. It's the only clean part of the hospital. All the new hospital is for every person that's going in has got COVID. So they put me into this hospital and into this bit. And I don't know how, but I just seem to see one after another of all these people that are saying, we can't deal with you here. We can't deal with you because you're Lincolnshire. So we can't, all the things that we want to do, we can't do because you're Lincolnshire. And they must have said 4 or 5 times every surgeon that's seen me, not surgeon, but pilot. And they all made notes. And then this man said, I know what I'm going to do with you. I'm going to make sure we get a compilation of everything that you need doing, and then we'll get it all on one paperwork and we'll send it to your doctor. Before I even got back to Lincolnshire, I was booked in for a CT scan, an MRI scan's on the way. So really, as much, because I was in Birmingham, which seemed like the end of the earth, they've got me in really quickly to have all these other bits of tests doing what I have done. So my coming back here for Christmas ended up, I've been back about 4 or 5 days now. And I've left John in Birmingham dealing with some other stuff, which we need to pray for John, because I think it's come to a real head with John of his other stuff, And I think he really is on the... I had a conversation with him like I've never had before, like today, about just the problems he has got with drugs. Because he's never actually said it, and I don't know, and it's all been a bit of a secret. I never smoked weed, and I've smoked weed myself nearly all my life, but I know I've got to stop, and I have stopped. I haven't had a cigarette since before Christmas. Since before Christmas. So John, I know John is really thinking about his life at the moment, really dealing with serious stuff before he comes home. And I think that this is where God's doing the work in John. And I didn't see it, and I couldn't see it, and I thought, how could he let me come home on my own? And I was so ill, because really I think he's got to deal with some stuff himself. And I think all this stuff is all being dealt with, and God's having his way. I've got the appointment next week, or the 7th, to go to an CT scan, and they seem to have, I've just seemed to have jumped all the queues somehow. Unfortunately, I think it was through going to Birmingham and being in such a vulnerable situation that they knew that there was something seriously wrong. My lungs don't look good on X-rays, but I'm being pushed to the front of the queue too. So, and I have faith everything will be all right.
Absolutely. Do you know what? I feel like that cancer, that sending you to the cancer ward was the scare you needed.
And I think
maybe, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's probably scared
John.
God. No, it hasn't scared God. God knows what's going on.
Yes.
But it's probably scared John, because
and Tyler.
who is John without an is.
Yeah.
And I think he's got a lot of searching to do, and I think that's incredible. That's amazing, and I've got no doubt that John will be back here giving his testimony.
I think
Next
so
month
too,
too.
and I think
Do you know what this is what we want. You're doing just before Christmas. That's amazing, Denise, because I know, we know that you've had trouble with that, but that's absolutely amazing. And we should be celebrating this. And if there is something we can support you with, please let us know. You've got ex-addicts sitting amongst you. You don't know that. You've got single mums. I used to be a single mum on benefits, and then God turned my life around and gave me an amazing husband, and now 4 children. That's insane. Because I literally came across a post today where I said, and I shared it, that Hannah was going to be an only child because she was driving me nuts. And I said, that's it, no more kids. And now I was babysitting 2 other kids, and I was like, heck no, there's no way that's going to be for me. But God got a hold of my life. And I think that, Denise, you've always been so faithful and so God-filled that maybe you just needed a bit of God gives me a kick up the butt. I'm not going to lie. That's the way he talks to me. I believe that.
Not mine too.
What, to kick you up the butt? No, you're all right. You can keep them. Actually, we could go out for dinner. Maybe leave Susie up there. She can't hear us. Caden, we're going to switch off online, and I will. Sorry, yeah. Let me just, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off online and then I'm going to send Caden off and then you can come in. Oh, she's here? No? Okay. Thank you for joining us online. We have run over, it's 7:10, but we are going to switch off now if that's all right. Join us next week, Sunday. No, not next week. We won't be here next week. We'll pop online and give you a word. We will be here next week. Will we? No. No. It's Easy Church next week. We will not be here at 10 a.m. We will not be here at 6 p.m. We will be here at 3 p.m. We won't be online because it's just chaos. Fun, God-filled chaos. So come and join us in person, 3 p.m. next week.